Told my sister if she sets one foot inside my nephew's wedding I'll drag her out of it myself. Family thinks I'm the jerk. Long-time lurker. Never thought I would make a post but I'm angry and not thinking clearly. I also apologize in advance. I'm a brute and don't mince words. I'm 47 female. My nephew Joey 21 is getting married in 2 weeks and his mother Judy 45 is trying to come. But I've adamantly told her not to because of how much trash she's put him through in recent years. When Joey was 18 he was in a car crash with his father. His father died a few days later and Joey was also hurt but obviously survived. I know all of this was triggered by my sister's grief and I am trying to be mindful of that. First, she purposely missed his high school graduation because she couldn't imagine being there without his father. Joey was understanding and thankfully me and his girlfriend, now fiance's family, were there for him. Judy insisted on still hosting a graduation party a week or so later. I wasn't able to get there until towards the end. When I got there, most of the guests had left and Judy was a drunken mess and was wailing about her husband's death. I told Joey to pack a bag and to come to my house for the weekend, which he did. Judy swore she would do better and begged him to come back home, which again, he did. A couple months went by and Joey asked if I could drive him to work because his car had been totaled. He looked terrible when I got him, so I asked him what was up. He said he has been working 70 hours a week because Judy had gotten laid off. I asked him how his car got totaled and he said Judy had crashed it driving intoxicated. At that point our mom and I sat down with her to try to get her into some sort of treatment or counseling and she agreed. But we later learned she never went. I take partial responsibility for not following up. Some months later Joey called me again, this time for a ride to the courthouse to get Judy out of jail. All he said was she had gotten drunk and got herself arrested. But when I picked him up he had fresh cuts on his arm and jawline. Turns out she assaulted him when he refused to get her more to drink. I begged him to come stay with me, but Judy insisted she would get help if he would stay and help her, which he did. I would call and talk to Joey once or twice a week to make sure he and Judy were safe. She didn't go into treatment, but he said things had calmed down. After a few months he stopped responding to calls and only sent short text responses. Some time later those stopped too. Throughout all of this he has been supported by his fiance. I started getting my updates on Joey's well-being through her occasional social media posts. They got engaged and her family is paying for the small, intimate wedding and reception they've chosen to have. As far as I knew things were better. He seemed happy in her posts. I was blindsided about 2 weeks ago when Joey's fiance called me. She said Joey needed my help and asked if she could drive him over to my house. When they got there he was shaking, hyperventilating, and threw up multiple times. When he finally calmed down he said his mother had gone into a drunken rage some weeks ago and started trying to rip and burn everything left of her husband's. When Joey stopped her, she started wrecking his stuff. All the while she was screaming that she wanted her husband back and wished Joey had unalive instead. She was blaming him for the crash, the whole 9 yards. Joey said this has been going on for months and the night prior to his girlfriend bringing him to me, he came home and found that she had burned all of his father's pictures, old clothes, everything. I went to confront Judy. She agreed once again to enter treatment and this time she followed through. Joey has been staying with me since. Every time I ask about the wedding or his girlfriend goes over plans with him he turns pale and miserable. I asked him what was up with that. He wouldn't really answer, but I asked if it was because his mom. I asked if he wanted her off the guest list. He didn't have it in him to flat out say yes, but the look on his face said it all. Judy called him earlier today gushing about how excited she is for the wedding and that she's picked out her dress and wants a mother-groom dance. Joey told her not to come. She went all weepy and started begging. At that point I asked him to give me the phone and I flat out told her that if she sets foot in that wedding I will personally drag her out of it. This has caused a stir in our family. Our other siblings think I have influenced Joey and I should convince him to let her come if she promises to behave. I told them all that since they've helped him very little and don't know his side of things then they can kiss my butt. From the comments, info, I am not judging, please don't take this the wrong way, but if your sister failed over and over to get help, why didn't anyone ask Joey to move in with them? Until she actually got help. I completely understand he might want it to help his mom, but still. OP, no judgment at all, Han. He was invited to stay with me every time. I try to talk him out of going back while trying to walk that fine line between him being an adult but also still young. Update, firstly thank you so much. I did not expect anything but a couple responses with some thoughts and instead got an overwhelming flood of encouragement and support for my nephew and I. Things have still been hard but I'll try to be brief. First, Joe spent 2 days stomach sick but kept working so he could pay his mom's mortgage one more time. So that was lovely of him. Judy and I went back and forth about trying to get his things back. I was planning on going with Joey to get his things with the police yesterday. The police said Joey had to be there since it's his property. However, Judy insisted that she had taken everything to a dumpster and not to bother. I asked Joey what he wanted to do in case she was lying and he said not to go since there wasn't anything very valuable or that he couldn't live without. Then she had the nerve to text him last night asking one more time to reconsider allowing her to come to his wedding. When he didn't respond she said he was not just being hateful to her but also to his late father because, as she put it, having me there is like having him there in spirit. Joey said no and finally put his foot down, telling her that her bills were paid for the month and that he's blocking her. I sent her a heck of a message myself that I don't regret and haven't heard from her at all today. I will not be blocking her, despite how some readers might feel I do care about her and want to check in to make sure she is safe. Joey's been moving his fiance into their apartment today. I've checked in a couple times and he says it's going well. Sent me a picture of them smiling with moving boxes as proof. And for anyone wondering, I have asked a friend who is a retired officer to come to the wedding to watch for her. Granted, she doesn't have a car right now. The venue is also aware. I feel okay about that, but honestly I feel like I am going to have a hard time watching the ceremony and not being out there myself keeping watch, but I am going to try my hardest. Judy knows not to cross me like that, so I know seeing me at the door will turn her away. But hopefully that won't even be necessary. From the comments, what is the stance of the rest of your family now? Still backing your sister? OP, haven't heard from any of them. Not even when I asked them if they could check up on her with a phone call or something.